The U.S. Defender moved slowly through the darkness of space. Its metal hull gleamed under the distant light of stars. Inside, Captain John Murphy sat in his command chair on the bridge. He was a tall man with gray hair at his temples and deep lines around his eyes from years of service. "Status report," Murphy said, his voice calm but firm. First Officer Lisa Collins looked up from her console. Her red hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her green eyes were sharp and alert. "All systems normal, Captain. We're on schedule for our patrol of the outer colonies." Murphy nodded. The year 2157 had been peaceful so far, but the outer edges of human space were still wild and unpredictable. The Defender was the newest and most powerful warship in the fleet, designed to protect human colonies from any threats they might face. Down in the engine room, Chief Engineer Alan Patel wiped sweat from his forehead as he made final adjustments to his latest upgrade. The ship's engines hummed with a power that exceeded military standards thanks to his modifications. He smiled at his work. The brass back on Earth might not approve of his changes, but out here in deep space, extra speed could mean the difference between life and death. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," called out Sam Green, the young sensor operator. His fingers moved quickly over his screen. "Unknown ship approaching from Sector 7. Murphy straightened in his chair, put it on screen. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a strange vessel unlike anything the crew had ever seen. It was shaped like a black teardrop with odd branch-like structures growing from its surface. It moved through space with an eerie grace. "No match in our database," Collins reported, scanning through known ship designs. "Not pirates, not colonists, not military." "First contact," Murphy breathed. The words hung in the air. Humanity had yet to meet another intelligent species, though they had always known it was just a matter of time. Open communications on all frequencies. Standard greeting package. Communications Officer Donna Lee sent the carefully prepared messages designed by Earth's best linguists and scientists for this exact moment. Minutes passed with no response. "Sir, they're changing course," Green called out. "They're heading directly toward us." Murphy felt the weight of command on his shoulders. The next few minutes could shape the future of human history. Yellow alert. Raise shields, but do not arm weapons. Let's not start humanity's first contact by appearing hostile. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, preparing the ship for possible danger while maintaining a non-aggressive stance. "Captain," Green's voice rose in pitch. "They're scanning us." A strange blue light washed over the bridge. The crew felt a tingling sensation as the scan passed through the ship's hull, through their bodies, through everything. "They're scanning our weapons systems, our engines," Collins reported, watching her console. "Wait, they're scanning our crew too. Biological scans, deep scans." Murphy gripped the arms of his chair. The tingling became uncomfortable, then painful. Several crew members winced, but no one cried out. After 3 long minutes, the scan stopped. The bridge crew exhaled collectively. "They're moving," Green said, surprise in his voice. They're running away." On the screen, the alien vessel was turning around. Suddenly, it accelerated at an impossible speed, disappearing from their sensors in seconds. "Can we follow them?" Murphy asked. Patel's voice came over the comm system from engineering. "Not a chance, Captain. They just pulled about 5 times our maximum speed." Murphy stared at the empty space on the view screen. What did they see? What did they find when they scanned us that made them run like that? Collins looked troubled. "I don't know, sir. But I have a feeling we're going to find out." Murphy nodded slowly. "Log everything. I want full reports from all departments." He looked around at his crew, seeing the mix of excitement and concern on their faces. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've just made first contact with an alien species, and for some reason, they took one good look at us and fled." "Should we be worried, Captain?" Lee asked quietly. Murphy considered this. "I'm not sure yet, but I do know one thing. He looked back at the stars on the view screen. We definitely got their attention. Commander Vexlar stood on the bridge of the Xeroxian scout vessel as it raced away from the human ship. His silver skin shimmered under the blue lights of the command center. 4 arms worked quickly across different control panels while his large black eyes blinked rapidly. "Maximum speed," he ordered. "Do not slow until we reach safe space." The crew of 12 Xeroxians moved with perfect coordination. They had served together for over 40 cycles and were among the best scouts in the Imperium's fleet. But now, for the first time in their careers, they were retreating in fear. "Commander, we are beyond their sensor range," reported the pilot, a female Xeroxian named Rilna. Vexlar nodded. "Secure the scan data. Prepare it for immediate transmission to High Command." In the science bay at the rear of the ship, Science Officer Taskill reviewed the scan results with growing horror. The Xeroxian Imperium had ruled their sector of space for over 2,000 years. They had encountered 37 different alien species, all of which now served the Imperium or existed under treaties favorable to Xeroxian interests. Their technological advantage had always been absolute. Until now. "Commander, you must see this," Taskill called, his voice shaking. Vexlar entered the science bay where holographic displays showed detailed images of the human warship and its crew. "What am I looking at?" he asked. Taskill pointed a slender gray finger at the display. "The ship itself is crude but remarkably resilient. They use multiple backup systems for every critical function. If one fails, another takes over instantly." "That's inefficient," Vexlar noted. "But effective," Taskill countered. "And their weapons." He pulled up another display. "They use projectile and energy weapons that are less advanced than ours, but the destructive potential is." He paused. "Concerning." Vexlar waved 2 of his hands dismissively. "We have faced primitive weapons before." "Not like these," Taskill insisted. "But the ship is not what troubles me most." He pressed a button, and the display changed to show scans of the humans themselves. Vexlar took a step back. "What am I seeing?" "These creatures exist in constant pain by our standards," Taskill explained, his voice hushed. "Their skeletal structure is continuously breaking down and rebuilding itself. Their skin constantly dies and renews. Their digestive system processes substances that would kill most sentient life forms." He pointed to brain scans. "They sleep. They actually become unconscious for hours every day. And during this time, they experience vivid hallucinations." Vexlar stared at the displays in disbelief. "How can they function like this?" "That's not all," Taskill continued. "Their biological readings show both predator and prey instincts active simultaneously. They have the hunting instincts of apex predators combined with the constant vigilance of prey species." The science officer brought up behavioral models. "Our predictive algorithms cannot model their behavior accurately. They are too contradictory. They show capacity for both extreme violence and extreme compassion, often directed at the same subjects." The bridge communications officer interrupted. "Commander, High Command is responding to our initial report. They're ordering us to return to Central Command immediately. The Council of Elders will be assembled." Vexlar looked once more at the human scans. "Tell them we're on our way, and classify all data from this encounter as highest security level." As their ship accelerated toward home, Vexlar turned to Taskill. "What would you call these humans, scientifically speaking?" Taskill considered the question carefully. "There is only one appropriate classification, Commander." His voice was solemn. "They are Deathworlders, beings evolved on a planet so hostile that they develop terrifying adaptations just to survive." Vexlar felt a chill run through his body. In 2,000 years of Xeroxian exploration, they had encountered Deathworlders only twice before. Both species had been quarantined, their planets marked as forbidden zones. "Prepare the full report," he ordered. "The Imperium must know what we have found." 6 months after the strange encounter, The U.S. Defender approached Earth's massive orbital command center. The spinning station gleamed against the blue backdrop of the planet below. Captain Murphy watched from the bridge as they were guided into one of the larger docking bays. "Docking complete, Captain," reported the helmsman. Murphy nodded. "First Officer Collins, you're with me. The rest of you, standard shore leave rotations." The crew had been on edge since their alien encounter. Despite filing detailed reports, they had received little information from command about what it all meant. Rumors spread through the ship like wildfire. Murphy and Collins made their way through the station's wide corridors. Military personnel and civilian contractors moved with purpose, but Murphy noticed increased security everywhere. "Something big is happening," Collins said quietly. They were led to a secure conference room, where Admiral Peter Rodriguez waited. He was a stocky man with a neatly trimmed beard and serious eyes. Star maps and holographic displays covered the walls. "Captain Murphy, Officer Collins, thank you for coming," the Admiral said, gesturing to seats at the table. "What I'm about to share is classified at the highest level." He pressed a button, and a hologram appeared showing the alien ship they had encountered. "We've identified them as the Xeroxians," Rodriguez explained. "They control a significant portion of space about 12 light-years from where you met them." "How do we know this?" Murphy asked. "We've been intercepting and decoding their communications since your encounter." The Admiral brought up another display showing translation algorithms working on alien text. "It wasn't easy, but we've learned enough to be concerned." Collins leaned forward. "What are they saying about us?" Rodriguez's face darkened. "They're terrified. After scanning your ship, they labeled humans as Deathworlders and declared our entire sector dangerous." He displayed a star map with a large red zone marked around human space. "They've set up a quarantine zone and have been warning other species to stay away." "Because of one scan?" Murphy asked, confused. "Because of what they saw in that scan," Rodriguez replied. "Look at this." He showed them translated Xeroxian reports about humans. The aliens described human biology in horrifying terms: bones that constantly broke down and rebuilt, skin that shed continuously, digestive systems that processed toxins, brains that hallucinated during sleep cycles. "They think we're monsters," Collins said, reading the reports. "It gets worse," Rodriguez continued. "The Xeroxians have formed a coalition with 6 other alien species to discuss the human problem. They're debating whether we pose a threat to galactic stability." Murphy felt a chill. "Are they planning to attack us?" "We don't know yet," Rodriguez admitted. "That's where you come in." He pulled up schematics of the Defender. "We're refitting your ship with our newest stealth technology. Your mission is to approach Xeroxian space under diplomatic pretenses and gather more intelligence about this coalition." "Diplomatic pretenses?" Collins asked. Rodriguez nodded to an aide who opened a side door. A woman in civilian clothes entered. She had short blonde hair and intelligent blue eyes. "This is Dr. Susan Wright, our top exobiologist. She'll lead the diplomatic team aboard your ship." Dr. Wright shook their hands. "Captain, Officer Collins, I've studied the Xeroxian communications extensively. They misunderstand us completely. We need to learn more about them before we can correct these misunderstandings." Murphy looked at the star map, at the red zones surrounding human space. "So they're afraid of us, but we haven't done anything threatening." "It's not what we've done," Dr. Wright said. "It's what they think we're capable of." Admiral Rodriguez closed the displays. "Your ship leaves in 48 hours. Get your crew ready, Captain. The fate of human-alien relations may depend on what you discover." Murphy nodded grimly. What had started as a routine patrol had now become the most important mission of his career. The U.S. Defender dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Xeroxian system. With its new stealth technology activated, the ship was nearly invisible to standard sensors. "Hold position here," Captain Murphy ordered. "Let's see what we're dealing with." On the main screen, a massive space station came into view. Unlike human designs, It looked almost like a living thing, with curved sections that resembled ribs and a central hub that pulsed with light. Sensors show 7 distinct types of ships docked at that station, reported Sam Green, matching 6 unknown configurations plus Xeroxian vessels. Dr. Wright stood beside Captain Murphy, her eyes wide. The Coalition. They're all here. First Officer Collins checked the enhanced sensor data. The station is generating some kind of dampening field. Our regular scanners can't penetrate it. Use the new quantum array, Murphy said. Let's hear what they're saying in there. In the science lab, Dr. Wright and her team worked frantically with the ship's computer to translate the incoming data. The quantum array could capture sound waves from inside the station by detecting tiny vibrations in its outer hull. We're getting something, one of Wright's assistants called out. Multiple languages, but the translation matrix is adapting. Murphy and Collins joined them as voices began to emerge from the speakers. At first, they were distorted and broken, but gradually they became clearer. Threat assessment indicates human expansion would overtake 3 sectors within 1 century, said a high crystalline voice. The Tholians, Dr. Wright whispered, pointing to data on her screen. A crystalline species, very logical, very concerned with long-term planning. Another voice, deep and echoing, as if spoken by many throats at once, added, they form attachments to other species, even to machines. They would integrate us into their collectives if given the chance. That's the Mycon, Wright explained, a fungal hive mind. They fear our individualism. The voices continued, each alien species sharing their fears about humans. Murphy listened with growing concern. These aliens weren't just cautious. They were terrified. Then a familiar voice spoke, a Xeroxian. We will now present our full analysis of the human threat. The main screen in the lab switched to show the inside of the Coalition meeting. Commander Vexlar stood before representatives of 6 other species, each stranger than the last. Some had multiple limbs, others no limbs at all. Some appeared solid, others semi-transparent. Humans evolved on what our scientists classify as a death world, Vexlar explained. Their planet's gravity is crushing by our standards. Their atmosphere contains corrosive elements. Their biosphere is filled with thousands of lethal organisms. The alien commander displayed images that the humans recognized from their own history and daily life, but the context made them seem horrifying. Surgeons in an operating room, cutting open a patient. They cut into their own bodies to repair damage, Vexlar said. Soldiers continuing to fight despite injuries. They can function despite physical trauma that would incapacitate any of our species. People eating spicy food and drinking alcohol. They deliberately consume toxins for pleasure. Children playing video games showing combat. They train their young for warfare using simulations from an early age. The alien audience reacted with visible distress. Some members physically backed away from the images. Based on these findings, Vexlar concluded, the Xeroxian Imperium proposes immediate containment measures. We cannot risk human expansion beyond their current territory. A tall, spindly alien with glowing eyes stood up. Containment may not be sufficient. The Draxil Conclave suggests a preemptive security operation targeting their outer colonies. Captain Murphy's face hardened. They're talking about attacking our colonies. Dr. Wright looked pale. They completely misunderstand us. Everything they're seeing is through their own cultural lens. Murphy turned to Collins. Prepare the diplomatic shuttle. We're changing the mission. Sir. Collins looked surprised. They're planning to attack us based on misunderstandings, Murphy said firmly. It's time we introduced ourselves properly. This is insane, First Officer Collins said as she prepared the shuttle. We're going to fly right into a station full of aliens who think we're monsters. Captain Murphy checked his uniform one last time. Sometimes the best defense is to show up at the party uninvited. Dr. Wright and 2 of her team members joined them in the shuttle bay. She carried a small device. This translator should help us communicate directly. It's based on the data we've collected. Murphy nodded to his small security team. 3 officers with sidearms carefully hidden under their formal jackets. Remember, defensive posture only. We're here to talk, not fight. The tension on the shuttle was thick as they launched from the Defender. Murphy had ordered the warship to drop its stealth field as soon as the shuttle was clear. U.S. Defender to Coalition Station. Communications Officer Donna Lee's voice came through the radio. We come in peace and request permission to dock. For several long seconds, there was only silence. Then the radio crackled. Human vessel. Came a shocked Xeroxian voice. How did you? The voice was cut off, followed by hurried alien words the translator couldn't catch. Collins checked the sensors. Multiple ships powering weapons systems. Murphy leaned toward the radio. This is Captain John Murphy of the Earth vessel U.S. Defender. We know about your coalition. We know about your discussions regarding human worlds. We request the opportunity to address your assembly. The shuttle drifted closer to the station while they waited for a response. Finally, the radio came to life again. Approach Docking Bay 7. You will be met by security personnel. Any aggressive action will be met with immediate force. Understood, Murphy replied calmly. The shuttle glided into the alien station, passing through a shimmering energy field. As they landed, Murphy saw dozens of alien security officers waiting, holding strange weapons. Here we go, he said, standing. Dr. Wright, you're our voice. They stepped out of the shuttle with their hands clearly visible. The aliens kept their distance, some visibly trembling at the sight of the humans. A Xeroxian officer approached cautiously. You will surrender all weapons. We carry none, Murphy lied smoothly. His security team had hidden their sidearms in special compartments in the shuttle, a precaution, not a threat. After tense negotiations and multiple scans, the humans were led through strange curved corridors to the main chamber they had seen on their sensors. The room fell silent as they entered. 7 different species of aliens stared at them, with expressions ranging from curiosity to horror. Commander Vexlar stood at the center of the room, his 4 arms tense at his sides. How did you find this meeting? How did you know we were here? Murphy gestured to Dr. Wright, who stepped forward to the central podium. Her voice was steady despite her nerves. We understand your fear, she began. You've scanned our ships, our bodies, our world, and found things that seem threatening to you, but you've misinterpreted our nature. She activated a small projector she carried. It displayed images very different from those Vexlar had shown. Parents caring for children, doctors healing patients, scientists working together. Yes, we can survive conditions that would harm you. Yes, our bodies constantly rebuild themselves. Yes, we train for combat. She paused, looking around the room. But these traits evolved not for conquest, but for survival. The aliens watched in silence, some moving closer to see better. We don't want war, she continued. We want to learn from you, trade with you, and grow alongside you. Judge us not by what you think we might do, but by what we have done. We detected your coalition. We learned of your plans for strikes against us, and yet we came to talk. The chamber was completely silent. Then Supreme Commander Zexnar, the highest-ranking Xeroxian present, stepped forward. He was older than Vexlar, with patterns of deep blue across his silver skin. You knew of our plans, he said slowly, had the capacity to strike first, and chose not to. He looked at his fellow aliens. This is unexpected. 2 days after the confrontation at the coalition meeting, the U.S. Defender floated beside the alien station. The situation had changed dramatically. Instead of planning attacks on human colonies, the aliens now wanted to learn more about these strange creatures from a death world. Captain Murphy welcomed a delegation from each species aboard the Defender. The aliens moved through the ship with a mixture of fear and fascination. Science Officer Tazkill, who had first analyzed the scan of the human ship, followed Dr. Wright through the medical bay. His 4-fingered hand hovered over a medical scanner. May I? He asked. Dr. Wright nodded. Please. Tatskill ran the scanner over her arm, studying the readings. Your bones are constantly regenerating. Doesn't this cause you pain? Not at all, she replied. It's a natural process we don't even notice. Tatskill made a sound like gentle bells, which the translator identified as amazement. And your immune system actively hunts invading organisms in your bloodstream. Yes, it protects us from disease. Remarkable, Tatskill said. What we initially saw is terrifying. Your redundant organs, your aggressive immune responses, your ability to function despite sleep deprivation or injury. These aren't weapons. They're adaptations that help your species survive on a challenging world. In the ship's mess hall, First Officer Collins shared a meal with representatives from 3 different species. The aliens watched in horror as she bit into a sandwich containing jalapenos. You willingly consume capsaicin, asked a Tholian, its crystalline body glittering under the lights. That compound is used as a weapon by some species. Collins smiled. We call it spicy food. Many humans enjoy the sensation. You seek out pain for pleasure. The Tholian's crystal facets shifted in what might have been confusion. Not pain exactly, Collins explained. More like intensity. Strong sensations remind us we're alive. Meanwhile, in the engine room, Chief Engineer Alan Patel proudly showed alien engineers his modifications to the ship's systems. You added a 3rd backup power system. A Mycon engineer asked, its fungal body pulsing with light. The efficiency loss must be significant. Sure, Patel agreed, patting the engine housing. But when you're a million miles from help, and the primary fails, you don't care about efficiency. You care about staying alive. The Mycon moved closer to examine the engine. You build expecting failure. We build expecting the unexpected, Patel corrected with a smile. And then we adapt. On the bridge, Captain Murphy met with Supreme Commander Zexnar. The Xeroxian leader studied the command center with new eyes. Your controls are designed for quick responses rather than precision, Zexnar observed. Murphy nodded. In battle, a fast decision is often better than a perfect one made too late. Zexnar's 4 arms performed a complex gesture. We have misunderstood humans fundamentally. We saw your adaptations and assumed they were for aggression, not survival. It's an easy mistake to make, Murphy said. When you encounter something different, fear is a natural first response. Yet you did not fear us, Zexnar noted. You came directly to us, unarmed, when you learned we might be planning against you. Murphy smiled slightly. Another human adaptation. Sometimes the best way to handle a threat is to face it directly and try to understand it. In the observation lounge, Dr. Wright shared star charts with alien scientists, showing human territory and exploration routes. We want to learn, she told them. That's our primary drive. Not conquest, not domination. Knowledge. Science Officer Tatskill studied the human woman carefully. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about humans is not your physical adaptations, but your psychological ones. You turned the harshness of your world into curiosity rather than aggression. Not always, Dr. Wright admitted honestly. We've had our share of wars and conflicts, but we've learned from them. Tatskill made the bell-like sound again. Learning from mistakes, another adaptation we hadn't considered. 3 weeks after first contact with the alien coalition, the U.S. Defender returned to Earth. This time, it wasn't alone. 7 alien ships accompanied it, each representing a different species. The sight of the strange vessels approaching Earth caused brief panic until Captain Murphy sent word ahead explaining the situation. At the United Nations headquarters in New York, representatives from every nation gathered for the historic meeting. Captain Murphy stood at the entrance, greeting the alien delegates as they arrived. Never thought I'd be playing doorman to the galaxy, he joked to First Officer Collins. Supreme Commander Zexnar approached, now wearing ceremonial armor decorated with blue stones. Captain Murphy, this structure is remarkably solid, built to last, like your ships. Like our friendships, I hope, Murphy replied. Inside the Grand Hall, human leaders sat across from alien representatives. Dr. Wright's translation devices had been distributed throughout the room, allowing everyone to understand each other. The Secretary General of the United Nations stepped forward to speak. Today marks a new chapter in human history. When our ships first met, there was fear on both sides. Now, we hope there can be understanding. Zexnar rose from his seat. His silver skin caught the light as he addressed the assembly. The Xeroxian Imperium has existed for 2,000 years. In that time, we have encountered many species, but none like humans. The room was completely silent as he continued. We scanned your ship and were terrified by what we found. We saw your ability to withstand conditions that would kill us. We saw your bodies constantly fighting to survive. We saw your weapons and your defenses. He paused. But we failed to see your hearts. Dr. Wright smiled from her seat beside Captain Murphy. Their gamble had paid off. Today, Zexnar announced, the 7 species of our coalition offer humans a different path forward. Not isolation, not conflict, but partnership. The alien commander presented a document to the Secretary General. The Galactic Cooperative Accord establishes protocols for cultural exchange, technology sharing, and mutual defense. As human translators reviewed the document, Murphy leaned over to Collins. Quite a change from planning to attack our colonies. Amazing what a little conversation can do, she replied. After the documents were signed, there was a celebration. Humans and aliens mingled awkwardly at first, then with growing ease as they found common ground. In a quiet corner, Captain Murphy received news that made him smile. He had been promoted to Admiral and would become Earth's first representative to the newly formed Galactic Council. Collins would take command of the Defender for Earth's first official expedition into deeper space, accompanied by ships from their new allies. Before leaving for his new post, Murphy visited Chief Engineer Patel, who was deep in conversation with alien engineers. They're fascinated by our approach to problem solving, Patel explained. Turns out, growing up on a death world makes you pretty good at finding creative solutions. Murphy nodded. Keep teaching them, but learn from them too. That's what this is all about. Later, aboard the Xeroxian flagship heading to the Council Station, Admiral Murphy looked out at the stars. Supreme Commander Zexnar joined him. You know, the alien said, we still find many aspects of humans disturbing. Your emotions change quickly, your bodies are always changing, and your societies seem chaotic to us. And yet here we are, working together, Murphy replied. Yes, Zexnar agreed. Perhaps that is the most surprising thing about humans, not your ability to survive hardship, but your ability to turn fear into friendship, enemies into allies, and the impossible into merely the challenging. As their ship accelerated to faster-than-light speed, Murphy thought about the strange journey that had begun with a simple scan. What the aliens had first seen as terrifying, they now saw as valuable. And what humans had seen as a threat, they now recognize as an opportunity. The stars streaked past the viewport, opening up a universe of possibilities that neither humans nor aliens could have imagined when they first met in fear.